Everybody out there. This is Dr. Kepha Ben Israel, Archbishop, Chief Apostle to the Body of Messiah, and founder of Kingdom Building Institute and Ministries, found in Portland, Oregon. I wanted to come on this platform today because I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, Periscope, and I'm on YouTube today. And I wanted to come on today in a very unusual circumstance. As you can see, I'm pretty laid back with my sports clothes on and so on like that, which really shouldn't make that much of a difference. What I'm getting ready to say is going to really make the difference in the world, to let the truth be told. I was getting ready to start teaching yesterday because I have a school of prophecy, our master class of prophecy with Kingdom Building Institute and Ministries. And I was alerted because I hadn't been watching the news all day because I've been doing some preparation for our class. And one of my bishops, Bishop George Harris, to be exact, um, alerted me and asked me had I seen the film or tape of the black man being killed in Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota. And of course, I had not seen it yet because of my schedule and the way things were going for me during the day. So I could not have attested to that. But immediately after my class was over with, I went and started looking on social media and everything, and saw what the world had seen: an unarmed black man having the life taken out of him in Minneapolis for whatever reason. Just so happens that he had been charged with a forgery charge and lost his life. Just plain murdered. Just murdered. There ain't no other sugarcoating and no other nothing to that. Just plain murdered. And by being somebody, being an official in the church, being an archbishop, a founder, a spiritual father, and all these other things that I've been labeled with. Um, I've really contemplated over this all night long because I could have immediately came out with a video and an explanation and so on like that. But I really had to sit back and just mourn a little bit because this is not the first incident. It's one of many. I look at Aubrey down in Georgia that was killed by those two men. They claimed that he was a perpetrator, straight racism. He was murdered, point blank, murdered. And if hadn't been for videotape, this they probably would have got away with it. I think of the young lady with her boyfriend that was sitting in her home, that was shot, that was killed by police in a botched up drug bust. Um, I could go on and on. We could go to the Eric Garner situation. Um, Several situations that were just yeah, terrible. The situation in Ferguson, Missouri, absolutely terrible. And then I saw Pastor Cheryl Brady, who is the pastor of the Potter's House in Fort Worth, Texas, up under the guise of Bishop T.D. Jakes, and how she immediately responded um, to this, to what happened in Minneapolis. And I want to say publicly worldwide that is the mark of a true leader. A tremendous thing that she did, a show of guts, a show of great humility by coming out saying that we need to do something about this. And I want to say this, that I don't think all white people are bad. I don't. I don't think that all white people have the intention of racism or that they hate black people. I don't think all police officers are bad. I don't think their intention is to hate all black people or to kill all black people. But there are some that still live in the Stone Ages, that racism has never left them. It's always been a part of them. They were raised with it. It's been part of their life. It's been part of who they are. And we can no longer hide behind the guise of religion and all these other things that we hide behind, because some people say, "Oh, God is love," and yeah, He is love, true, and that we have to avoid things, and that we are obligated by the Spirit to continue to go forth in the gospel, but we are not obligated by the Spirit to continue to take atrocities like this and wave them off and call them opposite of what they really are, which is systematic racism. And I think that a lot of the people in the black culture have slacked off. We've gotten lazy, and we've forgotten that the color of our skin has hindered us to be able to do a lot of different things. And it needs to be noted. It needs to be talked about. I just recently was a guest on a roundtable, if you will, talking about biblical black history. And wrap to Amore William Brown, kudos and blessings to you if you're watching, if you're hearing me, and to all the guys that was on there with me, Bishop Daniel Aiken, Pastor Randy Swole, Dr. Theron Williams. I had a wonderful time with all of you gentlemen. It was awesome. But I'm here to really point out the fact that this country has not gotten over the fact of systematic true racism. And we're dealing with it every single day. I mean, come on now. Later, for the percentages of the blacks and whites that kill each other and so on like that, I heard Candace Owens, who's a very liberal, a very conservative voice, a young lady at that, and I respect her as a black woman. She spoke candidly on one of her broadcasts, saying that we act like a bunch of chimpanzees every time a black person gets killed by a white person. Well, we would go a little crazy, considering it's happening as much as it's happening. And when law enforcement hires these people, they need to do a full background check, a vetting of source to see who they're hiring. You could be hiring a stone cold killer. And in the case of George Floyd, he was murdered. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. Point blank, he was murdered. And I'm calling for other clergy, apostles, prophets, pastors, evangelists, teachers, bishops, all of us, to call it like it is and call into accountability the responsibilities of people that are just stone cold murderers. We're living in a country where racism is still an issue. It has been an issue even before Donald Trump became president. Everybody wants to blame each other. Trump, they wants to blame Obama. I've not heard Obama blame Trump for anything yet. It's just sad when I see that the enemy has got this entire world snow creamed and just combongulated. We're pitted against each other. This is an attack of the enemy, and this is part of the plan of the enemy to rise. Because some of you that don't read the Bible, in Revelation 13, Revelation 14 and 17, they speak of an alter ego of Christ, and some of us call him the anti-Messiah, antichrist, or as the Bible calls it, the beast. The rise of the beast and the false prophet is for real. And I do believe that he's using systematic racism to draw a wedge in our society, to separate us, to keep us divided on serious issues that we need to talk about. And not only need to talk about, but need to do something about. We need to stand up and do something about it. In the case of this man here in Minnesota, I pray that these officers get arrested and are convicted to the maximum for what they did. Even the ones that stood by and watched it. I pray that you get the maximum, because that was totally unnecessary, inhumane, uncalled for, and everything unimaginable that you can think of. Here we are, church people, fighting over stupid, silly stuff, and those of us that are brown, Afrocentric, are systematically being singled out, taken out, and we're still showing dedication and loyalty to our oppressors who really don't care nothing for you, but care to see you destroy each other. I am an apostolic preacher, prophetic preacher. I am definitely into the ancient Hebrew, the Hebrew roots, the truth, as I call it. And I'm calling for our people to actually come together in an intelligent way. And let's find a way to put our 10 cents worth in this and to find a solution to this problem, to rip a hole in racism. Because what happened, as a black man, it reminds me of how hard it is to be a black man in America and actually be intelligent and smart and actually want to do something, and how so many roadblocks are in my way. I'm not telling you some statistic. I'm telling you what I've experienced. You know, a lot of people would expect me. They see me in dreadlocks. They see me with my covers on my head, and they see me with the jerseys and things like that. And so they systematically categorize a person like myself. So I know what it's like to be targeted, if you will. I hope that's a good way of putting it. They're targeted because of the color of your skin and the intimidation of your brain. This has got to stop. Contradictory to what some people may believe or think, Christ himself went through this, because in the Bible, when they said what good thing could come out of Nazareth, come on, people, they were speaking about a dark-skinned Hebrew, a dark-skinned Jew. Someone that no one expected to have as much intelligence and deliberation about him. It's time for us to call these things out as such. Moses was criticized in the Bible for marrying an Ethiopian woman, a dark-skinned lady. Now, you can't help who you love. Whether you're black and you marry a white person, whether you're white and you marry a black person, there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not here pointing any of that stuff out. But what I'm trying to point out is the systematic racism that we have experienced, especially in the United States, that gets pushed up under the rug, swept up under the rug, and act as though it's not happening. Politics has purposely used race as a maneuvering tool to vote for certain people and to not vote for certain people. Right now, there are people that are right now bashing Joe Biden in the same way they're bashing Donald Trump. I'm not going to vote for someone just because they support black people. I'm going to vote for somebody because they support the agenda of all people that makes things better so that we can live in a better country. But the fact of the matter that we have those that have systematically targeted the Afrocentric culture and has held us down and held us back for so long, I am not willing to keep my mouth shut about this anymore. I, as a black man, as an Afrocentric man, have had to make my own platforms to make my own money. It's nothing maybe to some people, but it's something to me because it's made it hard for me to eat. And I've had to go to extremes in order to try to make things happen. And at the same time, be this great, godly, spiritual man that people look up to. But at the same time, not say one word about situations and circumstances that we obviously have going on. And from a black man's perspective, from a black preacher, a black head, Archbishop of the church, from my perspective, enough is enough. We need to stop it. Something needs to be done. And I need people to not only stand with me, but just stand up, period, and no longer be silent. we shall be silent no more. We must speak on these things, and we must talk about these problems that are truly a problem, a systematic problem that needs to be resolved. While we're out here hating on each other and we're talking about each other and we're sitting here saying that we got the greatest church and the better this and the better that, our culture of people are being rooted out and we're being used against each other. Black women are being used against black men. Black men have put down black women. We have got to come together like it was meant to be. And we need to come up with a true solution to this thing. And my one solution is the awakening of our people and the rise of more common sense thinking and more things that we need to create for ourselves. I support black-owned businesses. I support our black officials, people that have stood the test of time, that go out there. Even though I don't agree with Candace Owens with absolutely nothing that she says, she's a black woman, and I support her because she's part of that nucleus of what we have of intelligent people out here. Even though it's not being used in the right way, I still support that. We need to come together, especially those of us that are a little bit older, that are baby boomers or folks that are coming up in the 50s and all these other different places and so on like that. We need to recognize and educate some of these young people as to what's going on. Systematic racism just didn't pop up yesterday. It's been going on for quite some time, all the way back to the biblical days. And I was just online with a very great historian in Dr. Theron Williams, and I pray and hope that he gets a chance to watch this video somewhere on one of the platforms. And I was very impressed by the knowledge that he has. And I advise you to get with people like that know the history, that know the Bible as black history, that know American history, the truth of what's going on. In the 1960s, J. Edgar Hoover noted and quoted and said that we must beware of the rise of a black messiah, of black people actually knowing who they are and coming up and becoming a threat into society. This is something that has been propagated and permeated so much that we need to wake the hell up and just really see things for what they really are. Again, I'm not saying that all white people are bad, and I'm not saying that all police officers and senators and governors and so on like that, they're not all bad people. There's some great people in those positions of power. There's some great people there, but they don't have the support of the great people that are not in those positions that can make a difference. And I'm calling out to all the preachers, to everyone that's watching me right now under the sound of my voice. This is totally my day off, but I just could not resist getting up here and actually doing a video across all the platforms I've been blessed to be able to come across, that we need to wake up and come together with some strategy. I've been saying this for the longest. Come up with some strategy so that we can competently defeat this horse called racism. That we can smack it in the face, that we can give the devil a black eye before his kingdom even rises. That we can be cognizant and aware of the things that are going on and do something about it. I mean, literally do something about it. I'm mad as hell. Just like some of you should be mad as hell. Because we've been fooled all this time. Malcolm X said you've been bamboozled. You've been hoodwinked. Okay? You've been fooled into thinking that everything is okay when it's not. We're still at the bottom of the barrel when it comes to certain circumstances and situations. And we need to wake up and come to reality. I'm sending out a clarion call and an apostolic announcement and a prophetic sound out there to let you know that the enemy is for real, and we need to fight this enemy with everything that we have. We need to come together as a nation of people with some common sense and realize that everything ain't blue, everything ain't black, that we got to get this thing back like it is. The equality. I sat and watched a man just literally die. Murder. Just like I've watched many other murders on video and then people get away with it. Got to do something about this. We got to say something about this. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. And yeah, we're spiritual, and yes, we are definitely, seeing in the spirit. That's all well and good. But seeing in the spirit and doing something in natural just don't match. Spirit and natural needs to match. We got to do something about it. Some of us that have the gumption to stand up, they can look beyond certain things that we don't have and that we don't see all the time. We get look beyond that and try to find a solution and come up with a better way. Come up with a better way. I'm just, I'm mad as hell, like a lot of you should be. It took me a long time to even come up and muster up the things. And again, I give Pastor Cheryl Brady of the Potter's House in Fort Worth, Texas, a lot of credit because she came on yesterday morning before the story really got fresh. And she made a statement. And that says a lot of volumes for her, for Bishop T.D. Jakes and all those people there. It says a lot to the training and to the awareness of the leaders and where their heart is at. And so, Pastor Cheryl Brady, I commend you and I really appreciate you for standing up as early as you have stood up and saying something. Now, everybody else, you need to say something too. You need to stand up and do something. Come on, use your white privilege, your pulpits as a platform, as a launching pad to get something done. If I can't reach certain people, you need to reach certain people. We need to find the niche in our platforms to be able to reach all people all across the board. I'm being seen on Facebook. I'm being seen on Twitter, Periscope, and YouTube. Let's use these platforms as a medium to get some things done. Let's bring our resources together, our monies, all the things that we have that we need to bring together in order to make some things happen. Because black and brown people are dying out there. And I'm tired of watching it. I'm tired of watching it. I'm sick and tired of watching what we're not doing. So let us bring our resources together. All monies, all voices, all strategies. Let's sit at the table and let's come and let us break bread together and understand each other and try to come up with something that will make some sense in that. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to keep on preaching the gospel. And I advise a lot of you to continue to preach the gospel, continue to do what's right. We're going to continue to do it, but at the same time, we need to bring awareness to it. The Bible says, watch as well as pray. Be alert and cognate to the things that are going on around you. Have discernment. That's one of the reasons why we have the spirit of discernment, so that we can watch and see everything that's going on around us at all times. And we need to come up with some stuff, because some of us, we don't want to pass the mantle. We want to hold on to our little pulpits and to our platforms, which is all well and good, but do something with it. If you're going to hold on to it, be saying something. Don't just get up there just to be looking cute. Get up there, say something that's going to impact the world. That's going to impact all the people that are involved, all the parties that are involved. It is time. We are calling. It's a clarion call for action, for us to come and cognitively come up with great solutions to these systematic problems that are very obvious. Racism is very obvious. It's time for us to stop denying it. The first solution to this problem is to admit we have a problem. So we need to stop saying there's not a problem, because there's definitely one. And let's find an answer to this problem. I'm Archbishop Dr. Kepha Ben Isreal. I'm Chief Apostle and Major Prophet to the body of Messiah. I just wanted to get up and make this very short video and say this, but I'm going to be coming on with some teaching between later on tonight and probably tomorrow on this platform where I'm reaching everybody. And I just want everybody to know that you can donate to this ministry. Donate. Go to the Cash app, hit the $, type in Chief Apostle Kepha. Kepha is spelled Kepha. Or you can go to PayPal, paypal.me/ capital K, capital I, Sreal. And a lot of people say, well, God, he just made that plea, and now he's saying to donate to his ministry. That's right, because the gospel is free, the information is free, but the work itself is not free. And we need to support our ministries, our black-owned businesses, and all things in order to be able to do some things and make some things happen. I'm calling for you guys to stand up and have some guts in this end time so that we can go in a blaze of glory doing what needs to be done. Okay? I'm going to leave you alone on that note, because when I come back, I'm not going to be coming back with this type of plea, but I may speak on certain things such as this, but I'm going to come back with a spiritual teaching that should edify any and everybody that comes and listens to what's being said. I am Archbishop Dr. Kepha Ben Isreal, signing off right now, saying shalom until the next time we meet again.